Welcome to Biology Made Easy. Today we have a very simple question to solve. What is transpiration and does it occur in all plants? Well, first of all, if we know what transpiration is, then it can help us to know whether it occurs in all plants. And transpiration is once there's an aerial part of a plant, aerial part, stem, leaf, flowers, fruits, and once water evaporates and diffuses out, and we have these few cells here of the plant, water evaporating and diffusing out. This cell, if water diffuses out of it, then the solute potential will become big because there will be more solute and less water. So the water potential gradient will reduce, and water potential gradient here is higher, so water will flow in here, and water will keep on flowing from cell to cell through a water potential gradient, because water in this one will be evaporating and diffusing out. And this process is transpiration, continual loss of water in the form of water vapor from aerial parts of the plant by diffusion down a water potential gradient. So, does transpiration occur in all plants? Does water evaporate from the aerial parts of all plants that creates a water potential gradient? The answer is yes, with a but. If you have plants that are totally submerged in water, then no part of the plant is in the air. So as far as this plant is concerned, which is Ceratophyllum, a completely submerged hydrophyte, it doesn't have an aerial part, so it doesn't face transpiration. But otherwise, all other plants, from the simple mosses and floating hydrophytes, transpiration occurs in them. So we have this moss plant, very simple plant, no vascular tissues, but you see you have these leaf-like structures, stem-like structures. They are all in the air, so that's their aerial parts. And so water evaporates from these aerial parts. These are the illustrations I've made, water evaporating from these aerial parts. And once water is evaporating, transpiration takes place, even in this small moss plants. Well, transpiration also takes place in herbaceous plants and even trees, because you have this leaf all exposed to the air, and so water evaporates and diffuses out through the stomata, through the cuticles, and so transpiration takes place. And when water evaporates and diffuses out, more water will have to move from the cells, and finally water will be drawn from the veins, and finally water will be drawn from the roots. And that is what creates the transpirational force, which we will talk about in another lesson. So transpiration takes place also in herbaceous and woody plants. What about floating hydrophytes, like this pistia floating in the water? It has stomata on the upper epidermis here. There are no stomata in their lower epidermis. Water will flood it. You also have this nymphia, the leaves and flowers floating in water. Part of it is rooted in water, so it's called an emergent. But because the leaves and the flowers float in water, it also transpires, because water will evaporate from the leaves and the flowers, and when water evaporates, it will create a gradient to cause more water to be moved to the surface of the leaves and the flowers to be diffused and out, and that is transpiration. Well, so where are the sites of transpiration? Transpiration occurs in the stomata, cuticles, lenticels. In woody plants, transpiration occurs through the stomata, cuticles, and lenticels. So all three areas, transpiration takes place. But when you have herbaceous plants and floating hydrophytes, transpiration takes place only through the stomata and the cuticles, and then mosses only through the cuticles. Well, so we have answered the question, isn't it? Transpiration occurs in all plants except completely submerged hydrophytes. So till we meet in our next lesson to talk still about transpiration, thank you and goodbye.